Hey, movie buddies. Grab your popcorn, pull up a chair, and get cozy, because tonight we're letting our hair down and diving into one of Disney's most dazzling fairy tales, Tangled. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And join the crew. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on these deep dives. We're all about movies, memories, and a little bit of movie magic. So, welcome to the team. So, have you ever wondered what it would be like to spend your whole life in a tower, looking out at the world but never stepping foot outside? Well, that's where our adventure starts. With Rapunzel, a girl with 70 feet of magical glowing hair and a dream bigger than her window view. But Tangled isn't just another princess movie. It's Disney's wild, witty, and surprisingly heartfelt remix of a story that's been told and retold for centuries. A storybook classic, reimagined. Let's rewind for a second. The original Rapunzel is a classic fairy tale, and it's been around way before Walt Disney ever drew his first mouse. We're talking 200 years ago. Brothers Grimm, dusty old storybooks, the works. But the real secret? Disney had wanted to bring Rapunzel to the screen since the days of Snow White. That's right. Tangled is a dream that took decades to untangle. Sorry, couldn't resist. Disney's version isn't just a straight adaptation. They flipped the script, gave Rapunzel a whole new personality, some killer frying pan skills, and a sense of humor that actually lands. And just like that, they turned a story about waiting for rescue into a movie about breaking out, finding your courage, and, of course, singing at the top of your lungs. Did you know? Trivia time. Okay, movie buddies, let's get into some of the wild and weird behind-the-scenes facts that make Tangled extra special. Longest hair in animation. Rapunzel's hair is over 70 feet long in the movie. Animating it was a total nightmare. No. Fact, Disney invented an entire new branch of computer science to make it work. There was a team whose only job was to figure out how that magical hair should flow, tangle, and shine. They called themselves the Hair Team. Imagine that on your LinkedIn. A movie 6 years in the making. Disney started working on Tangled way back in 2004. It went through so many versions. At one point it was called Rapunzel Unbraided and was almost a Shrek-style parody with time-traveling teenagers. Wild, right? Eventually, the directors said, "Let's bring the heart and music back." And that's how we got the version we know and love. The most expensive animated film at its time. Believe it or not, Tangled cost more to make than Avatar did in terms of pure animation. All those painterly backgrounds, flowing hair, and lanterns added up. In the end, the price tag was somewhere around $260 million, more than any animated movie before it. Disney's 50th animated feature. This movie isn't just special for Rapunzel. Tangled was Disney Animation's 50th full-length animated film. So, in a way, it's both a throwback to Disney's golden age and a leap into the future. Cut songs, changed endings, and Easter eggs. There were whole songs written, and then scrapped. Flynn and Rapunzel's characters changed a lot. And of course, if you watch closely, you'll spot little Disney Easter eggs all over, like Pinocchio hiding in the Snuggly Duckling and a cameo by Pumbaa from The Lion King. I See the Light. Oscar nominee Alan Menken, the guy who did music for Aladdin and The Little Mermaid, wrote the songs for Tangled. I See the Light got nominated for an Oscar, and that floating lantern scene? That's pure movie magic. More on that later. Why Tangled is a big deal. Let's be real. By 2010, Disney princess movies had kind of fallen out of the spotlight, but Tangled swung in, literally, and changed the game. Suddenly, Disney was cool again for kids, teens, and adults. The animation was a new blend. Somehow it looked hand-drawn but was actually groundbreaking CGI. Plus, you've got a princess who's funny, curious, and nobody's doormat. Rapunzel's not waiting for a prince, she's running the show, with a frying pan, no less. And Flynn Rider? He's not your average prince either. He's a thief, a goofball, and he's got that legendary smolder. The movie was such a hit that it basically kicked off what fans call the Disney Revival, that string of modern classics like Frozen, Moana, and Zootopia. Without Rapunzel leading the way, who knows if we'd have Elsa, Anna, or Maui in the Disney Squad? The global buzz, and let's not forget the hype. The trailers for Tangled went viral before viral was even a thing. Everyone wanted the soundtrack. And those lantern scenes? If you've never watched it on a big screen, trust me, it's worth every second. Merchandise flew off the shelves. Kids wanted Rapunzel dresses, frying pans, stuffed Pascals, and even glowing hair extensions. Yes, really. People lined up at Disney parks just to meet her. And even now, Rapunzel's a favorite for cosplayers and artists everywhere. A movie for every movie buddy. Maybe you grew up with Tangled. Maybe you missed it and always wondered what the fuss was about. Or maybe you've just been looking for a fairy tale that's as much about laughter and adventure as it is about love. Either way, you're in the right place. So buckle up, team, because over the next hour or so we're going on a wild ride. We'll dig into the story, the animation, wizardry, the characters, yes, even Maximus the horse, and those moments that just hit different. We'll chat about why this movie stands out in Disney's long history, and maybe even swap a few favorite moments along the way. And hey, if you love these movie breakdowns as much as we do, don't forget to join our crew. Hit subscribe, and let's build the ultimate squad of movie lovers, one fairy tale at a time. All right, are you ready? Let's step out of the tower and into the world of Tangled. All right, movie buddies, time to let your movie geek flag fly. Because Tangled is packed with wild facts, secret history, and twists that even most Disney fans don't know. Let's dig deep into the fairy tale roots, the bumpy road to getting this movie made, and why it almost turned out completely different. Fairy tale origins, the real Rapunzel okay. Picture this: Germany, 1812. No TikTok, no Netflix, just candlelight and creepy old forests. That's when the Brothers Grimm first published the tale of Rapunzel. The story was simple. A couple desperate for a child, a garden full of magic rampion, that's a kind of salad green, and a witch with a serious boundary problem. The price for stealing rampion. Their baby daughter, who the witch locks away in a tower with neither stairs nor door, visited only when she lets down her long golden hair. But here's the twist. The Grimm tale is much darker than Disney's version. There's accidental blindness, magical healing tears, and let's just say the witch is a lot scarier than Mother Gothel singing "Mother Knows Best." The original Rapunzel is also a bit more passive. She mostly waits in her tower, while her prince gets blinded by thorns and stumbles around the forest. Yeah, not exactly girl power. But Disney? They took that core idea, long hair, locked tower, a quest for freedom, and totally reimagined it. Rapunzel isn't just waiting for rescue. She wants to see the world, make her own choices, and literally swings into action, sometimes with a frying pan. The tower becomes not just a prison, but a starting point for adventure. Instead of a wandering prince, we get Flynn Rider, a charming, funny thief with a heart of gold and, let's be honest, world-class smolder. So next time someone says Disney just copies fairy tales, you can drop the mic with all the ways Tangled twists the story. And fun fact, in the Tangled credits, Disney gives a shout-out to both the Grimms and all the storytellers who kept the legend alive. It's their way of saying, thanks for the inspiration, but we're doing it our way. A Tangled production. The road to Rapunzel right. You ready for some behind-the-scenes chaos? Making Tangled was, well, a tangled process. Seriously, this movie had more plot twists before release than some whole franchises. The dream goes way back. Disney wanted to adapt Rapunzel for ages. The idea floated around the studio for decades. Walt Disney himself considered it way back in the 1940s, but nobody could crack how to turn a simple tower-bound story into a full-length animated musical. It just sat on the back burner, waiting for someone to give it a fresh spin. Shrek-style parody, the Rapunzel unbraided era, fast forward to the early 2000s. Disney's losing its fairy tale mojo, Pixar's taking over the world, and the last few Disney princess flicks didn't exactly break box office records. The studio gets bold. Their first idea, Rapunzel Unbraided, which was basically a Shrek-inspired meta-comedy parody. Imagine this. Two modern-day teenagers from San Francisco get sucked into the Rapunzel storybook and have to untangle fairy tale chaos to get home. There were pop culture jokes, wisecracking sidekicks, and a tone way more DreamWorks than Disney. Wild, right? Directors and story artists took a swing, but the parody direction just didn't feel like classic Disney. After a few years, and millions spent, they scrapped the whole concept and started over, finding the heart and the hair. That's when Nathan Greno and Byron Howard, fresh off Bolt, came in. They pitched bringing Rapunzel back to basics. Real emotion, a timeless fairy tale. Feel, big musical numbers, and heart. But they wanted to do it in a way no one had before, combining the lush, painterly look of old Disney classics with cutting-edge CGI. The whole process took almost 6 years, story after story, script after script, and dozens of deleted scenes. Characters got major makeovers. Rapunzel went from zany prankster to relatable dreamer. Flynn Rider went through so many redesigns they held an in-studio hot guy vote to pick his final face. No, seriously. It was called the Hot Man Meeting, and the animators voted for their favorite sketches. Mother Gothel also changed a ton. Sometimes more witchy, sometimes more glamorous, finally landing on that perfect Broadway villain mix. Pascal, the Ewe chameleon, was nearly a squirrel. Maximus almost talked. It was a creative roller coaster. The most expensive animated movie. At its release, let's talk about that price tag. Movie buddies, this was the most expensive animated movie ever made when it came out. Roughly $260 million. To put it in perspective, that's more than what it cost to make Avatar. If you just count the animation, not the crazy motion capture. Stuff? So, where'd all the money go? Here's a few big-ticket items. The hair. Rapunzel's hair is legendary. 70 feet long and a living, moving part of every scene. Animating it was next-level hard. The team had to create brand new software and invent physics that never existed before just to make the hair look right. Over 100,000 individual strands, and they all had to twist, tangle, and shine like real hair. There was literally a hair simulation team working full-time. Every time Rapunzel moved, her hair had to move realistically. Not too stiff, not too floaty, never getting in her face, unless it was funny. Imagine animating a character where her hair has to act like its own co-star. Legend says by the time they were done, some animators never wanted to see a single strand of hair again. Painterly visuals. The directors wanted Tangled to feel like a moving oil painting, a tribute to the old-school Disney look. But no computer. Animation at the time could pull it off, so they invented a technique called non-photorealistic rendering, NPR. It blended the soft, dreamy look of traditional art with 3D computer animation. The tech wizards at Disney even gave the software a code name, the Painter. Artists studied watercolors, oils, and even real brushstrokes, then figured out how to get computers to recreate that effect. Look at the lantern scene and you'll see the result. Everything glows, shimmers, and feels like it belongs in a storybook. Action and comedy. From the slapstick chases to Maximus's wild horse antics, Tangled packed in tons of action and physical comedy. Every gag and fight sequence meant dozens of test animations, and some were redone so many times it's a miracle the animators didn't lose their minds. Star-studded team. You've got Alan Menken, the guy behind Aladdin and Beauty, and the Beast, writing music. Glenn Keane, Disney legend, designing the characters, and a cast led by Mandy Moore, Zachary Levi, and Donna Murphy. Every scene, every joke, every line delivery had to be just right. All that talent, worth every penny. Scrapped scenes and songs. Here's a fun one. Tangled had dozens of songs that never made it. Some scenes were finished, animated, and scored, and then tossed out. All that work still cost money, and it meant the final. Product was the best of the best. Development's hidden stories. Flynn Rider's face. Flynn was almost unrecognizable in early versions. The directors literally brought in a bunch of women from around Disney, showed them sketches, and asked, "Who's the most attractive?" Imagine that day at work. They called it the Hot Man meeting. The winning features, arched eyebrows, a certain nose, the jawline, became the Flynn we know and love. Rapunzel's pet. Pascal was originally a squirrel, then a purple dragon, then finally a chameleon. Why? The team thought chameleons are cute, funny, and great for visual jokes, and Disney had never done one before. Maximus speaks. Almost. The team considered giving Maximus the horse full dialogue, but realized he was funnier as a silent, straight man. They ended up basing his movements on classic canine behaviors, like a police dog who just knows something's up. Title change. Did you know? The film was called Rapunzel for most of development. Disney changed it to Tangled late in the game to appeal to all audiences, not just girls. There's a debate about this, but hey, it worked. Mother Gothel's song, Donna Murphy, who voices Gothel, is a Broadway icon, and she brought all that big energy to Mother Knows Best. The animators watched her performance closely to nail Gothel's dramatic, over-the-top movements. The Disney Revival begins when Tangled finally hit theaters. It was more than just a movie. It was a comeback for Disney animation, the start of what fans call the Disney Revival. For years, Disney had been overshadowed by Pixar and DreamWorks. Suddenly, they were back in the spotlight, making musicals that everyone wanted to see again. The blend of old and new, classic fairy, tale heart, cutting-edge tech, and a winking sense of humor set the tone for a new era. Without Tangled, there might be no Frozen, Moana, or Encanto. So next time you watch Rapunzel swing through the air, dodge a frying pan, or light up the night with lanterns, remember, you're seeing the end result of years of dreaming, debating, and a whole lot of untangling. And you, movie buddy, officially know way more than most people about how this fairy tale got its glow-up. Okay, movie buddies, time to pull back the curtain and get geeky. If you've ever looked at Tangled and thought, how did they make this look so much like a painting? Or, how the heck does Rapunzel's hair not break every law of physics? You're not alone. The secret sauce of Tangled isn't just its story or songs, but the mind-blowing technology Disney invented just for this film. Let's get into it. The Painterly Revolution. Non-photorealistic rendering. NPR. Let's start with what your eyes notice first. Tangled doesn't look like any other animated movie from the time. There's something dreamy and magical about it, right? That's all thanks to a wild technique called non-photorealistic rendering, or NPR, if you want to sound fancy at movie night. So, what does that actually mean? Most computer-animated movies up until then tried to make things look as real as possible. Think about Pixar's Toy Story or Finding Nemo. They go for shiny, smooth, lifelike textures. But Tangled? Disney wanted to bring back the feel of their old 2D classics like Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella, you know, the kind where every frame looks like it could hang in an art gallery. The problem, no one had actually pulled that off with computers before. So what did Disney do? They said, let's invent a way. They blended cutting-edge 3D CGI with custom software that let animators paint right onto their digital canvases. This tech let them mimic brushstrokes, blend colors like watercolors, and oils and give Tangled that storybook come-to-life glow. It took years and a bunch of animation wizardry, but the result? Every scene in Tangled feels soft, luminous, and timeless. The best example? The Lantern Festival. Watch it again, and you'll see layers of light and color dancing around the characters, making everything shimmer. Pure magic. Rapunzel's hair. Animation's greatest challenge, all right. Let's talk about the real star of the show. Rapunzel's hair. Not even kidding. Her hair is a main character all on its own. Over 70 feet long. Golden, glowing, magical. The movie just wouldn't work if her hair looked weird, stiff, or fake. But animating hair is one of the toughest things you can do in CGI. Most characters in animated movies have short hair or wear hats. Looking at you, Elsa. And for good reason, it's almost impossible to make long hair look good in motion. Now imagine hair that not only flows but wraps around objects, gets tangled, acts like a lasso, and can support the weight of two people swinging out of a tower. That's next level. How did Disney pull it off? They built an entire hair team. Yes, a group of engineers and artists whose only job was to make Rapunzel's hair move just right. They even wrote their own hair simulation software to figure out how each of the 100,000-plus strands should twist, swing, and bounce. And it wasn't just about movement. The hair had to interact with everything. Flynn's hands, Maximus's, hooves, the wind, the water, you name it. There's a story that every time Rapunzel picked up her hair, animators would groan because they had to re-simulate the physics. By the end of production, the team had a mantra: no more hair. But hey, all that work paid off. Rapunzel's hair became a literal technical legend in animation. Fun fact, Disney actually used some of these new hair tools in movies like Frozen and Moana later on. Lighting the lanterns. Creating a fairy tale glow. Speaking of legendary scenes, let's talk about the Lantern Festival. If you haven't gotten chills during I See the Light, did you even watch Tangled? That whole scene is a masterpiece of light and color, and, surprise, it took a whole separate tech breakthrough. Lighting is a huge deal in animation. You want that soft, glowing, storybook look, but you're dealing with thousands of moving lanterns, water reflections, and two main characters in a tiny boat. The animators developed a new system for controlling how light bounced around the scene, so the lanterns would illuminate everything just like in a real festival. Bonus trivia. The directors actually filled the studio with lanterns when Mandy, Moore, and Zachary Levi recorded the song, just to help them get into the moment. Facial animation. Bringing 2D charm to 3D faces, Disney didn't just want painterly backgrounds, they wanted the characters to have that squishy, expressive 2D look as well. That's tougher than it sounds. 3D faces can look stiff or plasticky, if you're not careful. So Glenn Keane and the team developed new ways to stretch, squash, and pose faces. Rapunzel's giant green eyes, Flynn's world-class smolder, and Gothel's dramatic eyebrow raises all come from this blend of classic hand-drawn squash and stretch with high-tech 3D. And if you pause the movie anywhere, odds are you'll land on a frame that's as lively as any old-school Disney drawing. The cast that brought it all to life. Now, what's groundbreaking tech without the perfect voices behind it? Tangled's cast is a lineup of pure gold, full of surprises too. Mandy Moore as Rapunzel. Let's start with our tower-bound heroine. Mandy Moore was already a pop star and actress, a walk to remember anyone. But Tangled was her first time, leading a big animated musical. She brings so much warmth, curiosity, and a hint of goofiness to Rapunzel. Plus, those vocals. If you ever catch yourself humming, "When Will My Life Begin?" you've got Mandy to thank. She's also credited with helping shape Rapunzel's sense of humor. In the recording booth, she'd throw in little ad-libs and reactions that animators then matched to her voice. Those awkward giggles and earnest pep talks, that's all Mandy Zachary Levi as Flynn Rider, and then there's Flynn Rider, aka Eugene. Fitzherbert, the Smolder King himself. Zachary Levi wasn't exactly a household name back then, though Chuck fans already loved him, but his audition blew everyone away. He could sing, he could banter, and he brought the perfect mix of charm. And I'm too cool for this energy. Flynn's chemistry with Rapunzel is legendary because Zach and Mandy clicked instantly. So much so that some of the best dialogue was just them riffing off each other. Fun fact, Zachary Levi later joked that singing "I See the Light" in "A Room Full of Real Lanterns" was peak Disney moment. Not a bad day at the office. Donna Murphy as Mother Gothel. Let's not forget our villain, Mother Gothel, voiced by Donna Murphy. Broadway fans know her as a stage powerhouse, and she brings all that diva energy to Mother Knows Best. She nails every sly, manipulative line and every over-the-top performance. The animators even watched footage of Donna recording to capture Gothel's dramatic gestures. So if she feels like a real Broadway star stuck in a tower, that's on purpose. Almost cast What Might Have Been. Here's some spicy casting trivia for you. Zac Efron. Yep, High School Musical Zac was considered for Flynn Rider. Imagine him dueling with Maximus or doing the Smolder. Kristen Chenoweth, Tony Award winner, Wicked, was considered for Rapunzel at one point. She would have brought a totally different energy, right? Ultimately, Disney landed on Mandy and Zach, and honestly, can you even imagine anyone else in those roles now? Voices in many languages. Bonus, fun fact, Disney movies get dubbed into dozens of languages for international release. For Tangled, Disney went all out, finding local stars to match the energy of Mandy, Zach, and Donna. In some countries, Rapunzel's songs hit the charts, proof that Disney magic crosses every language barrier, sidekicks, expressions, and personality. 1. Last bit of tech meets talent. Animators poured tons of love into the sidekicks. Pascal the Chameleon. He doesn't talk, but he's basically Rapunzel's conscience, hype man, and comic relief all rolled into one. His color changes? All done. By hand, no automatic color swaps here. Maximus the horse. He might be the best dog Disney ever animated. The team studied police dogs to nail his body language and reactions. There's a reason every side-eye, smirk, and tail flick feels so real. It's the magic of animation, plus a cast having an absolute blast. Wrapping up the magic, so the next time you watch Tangled, keep your eyes peeled for all those painterly textures, the little hair details, and the way every character's face pops off the screen. Remember, there's an army of artists, tech geniuses, and voice legends working together to make it feel like you're right there in the lantern light. And hey, when someone tries to tell you animated movies are just for kids, feel free to flex a little with all this behind-the-scenes know-how. That's what being a true movie buddy is all about. And please remember to subscribe. Alright, movie buddies, let's talk trophies, triumphs, and the tidal wave of hype that rolled in when Tangled hit the scene. If you ever needed proof that this fairy tale broke the mold, just look at all the awards, records, and jaw-dropping fan buzz that followed. This movie wasn't just a win for Rapunzel and Flynn Rider, it was a win for Disney, for animation, and for everyone who ever wished on a lantern. Oscar-worthy magic. I See the Light. First up, we've got to talk about the song that made us all a little misty-eyed. I See the Light. Picture it, Rapunzel and Flynn adrift on the water, thousands of lanterns lighting up the night sky, and Alan Menken, Disney legend, absolutely crushing it with the music. Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi's voices blend together like peanut butter and jelly, and the whole scene glows with magic. No surprise here, I See the Light was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Song. It went up against some stiff competition, but it instantly became a classic. If you've ever tried to sing those high notes in the shower, welcome to the club. Even if it didn't snag the Oscar, Curse You, Randy Newman, and Toy Story 3, It took home a Grammy and more than a few spots on wedding playlists around the world. And let's be real, when that chorus swells and the lanterns rise, that's pure Disney, and it's the moment everyone remembers. Box office. Hero. The start of a Disney comeback. Let's talk numbers, because Tangled didn't just win hearts, it won at the box office too. In fact, this movie was a major game changer for Disney animation. Before Tangled, Disney was struggling a bit. Pixar was the hotshot. DreamWorks was throwing out Shrek after Shrek, and the last few Disney fairy tales hadn't exactly lit up the world. Then, bam, Tangled drops and makes nearly $600 million globally. Not only did it open strong in the US, it dominated overseas, especially in places like Japan, the UK, and Germany. People lined up to see it again and again. Hey, some of us still would if they brought it back to theaters. But what's really cool is what Tangled did for Disney as a whole. It kicked off what we now call the Disney Revival, that golden streak that gave us Frozen, Moana, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and more. Without Tangled proving that big, musical, emotional fairy tales could work for everyone again, we might not have gotten Let It Go or You're Welcome. Tangled basically handed the Disney magic wand back to the studio, and in case you're keeping score, Tangled was, for a while, the highest-grossing Disney princess movie ever, not counting the Frozen juggernaut that came after. That's serious. Bragging rights. All the feels. Awards, nominations, and more. Besides the Oscar nod, Tangled scooped up a trophy case's worth of awards and nominations. Grammy Award for Best Song, Written for Visual Media, I See the Light, Golden. Globe nominations for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song, tons of Annie Award nominations. That's the animation world's version of the Oscars. Kids' Choice Awards, Teen Choice Awards, even a Satellite Award, let's not forget. The endless Best Disney Movie polls online, Tangled is always in the top tier. It's basically the People's Princess teaser trailers, Tangled Mania, and fandom explosion. Now, let's get into how Tangled took over pop culture before the movie even dropped. Remember that first viral trailer? You know, the one where Flynn gets walloped by a frying pan and Pascal does that perfect little eye roll? It was everywhere. People were sharing it online, talking about how Disney is finally back, and suddenly everyone was pumped to see a new princess who could actually swing from the rafters and stand up to a band of pub thugs. Once the movie landed, the fandom exploded. Memes, Flynn's smolder, Pascal's shade, and Maximus's epic horseface all went viral. Fan art. Artists everywhere started drawing lantern scenes, sketching Rapunzel's hair in every possible way, and turning Maximus into the most beloved horse since Secretariat. Cover songs and YouTube tributes, I See the Light, and When Will My Life Begin, became instant cover song favorites, and you still can't go a week on YouTube without finding a Tangled music video or medley. Cosplay. Suddenly, Comic Cons everywhere were glowing with Rapunzels, sometimes in pairs with Flynn's, sometimes swinging solo with a frying pan. Merch madness. Tangled takes. Disney is always good at turning movie magic into real-world stuff, but Tangled hit another level. You had Rapunzel dresses and wigs. Every little kid, and let's be honest, a lot of adults, wanted those 70 feet of magical hair. Frying pan toys, because why not fight villains or brothers with a kitchen utensil? Pascal plushies, the cutest. Chameleon you'll ever find at a Disney store. Lantern night lights. Recreate the floating lantern scene in your own room. Guaranteed to make any night magical. Art books and soundtracks. For the true fans who want to learn every lyric and see every sketch. The movie inspired Disneyland and Disney World to add Tangled-themed attractions, lantern photo ops, and even special park snacks. I mean, who wouldn't? Want a Tangled sundae or a Rapunzel cupcake? The fandom lives on more. then a decade later, Tangled is still everywhere. You see, Rapunzel and Flynn at Disney parks, always with a crowd TikToks with Pascal sneaking into frame viral posts every year when fans release their own real-life lanterns, sometimes in very creative places. And hey, Tangled even sparked its own TV series, Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, which ran for 3 seasons and gave us even more adventures, new songs, and yes, some epic Maximus moments. Let's make some movie magic together. Now, before we keep going, let's have a movie buddy moment. If you're loving this breakdown and you want to keep the magic rolling, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our Movie Buddies team. We're not just talking about movies. We're building the best squad of film fans anywhere on YouTube. Think of it like joining Rapunzel's Lantern Festival. Everyone's welcome, the light's always on, and the more, the merrier. We do deep dives, watch parties, fun trivia, and, I promise, 0 evil witches. So grab your frying pan, shine up your smolder, and let's light up this channel together. Hit subscribe, and let's make every movie night unforgettable. Alright, movie buddies, if you've been along for the ride so far, you already know Tangled is packed with magic, laughs, and a whole lot of heart. But let's zoom out for a minute, because there's something bigger going on with this movie. We're not just talking about any Disney film here. We're talking about the movie that changed everything, broke new ground, and planted its flag as an instant classic. So, why does Tangled feel so epic? Why does it hit different, even after all these years? Grab your lanterns. Let's find out. Disney's 50th animated feature, The Golden Milestone. First up, this isn't just another princess flick. Tangled is Disney's 50th animated feature film. That's right, the big 5-0. We're talking a straight line from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937, all the way to the top of Rapunzel's tower. Imagine being the movie that had to live, up to the legacy of Cinderella, The Lion King, Mulan, and so many more. No pressure, right? Disney went all out for this milestone. From the opening logos to the closing credits, there are little winks and nods to everything that's come before. The studio even rolled out special gold foil Blu-rays and DVD releases. Collectors, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've ever walked through the Disney Animation Building, you'll find Rapunzel herself up there with Mickey, Simba, and the whole crew. It's a movie that stands on the shoulders of giants, but then swings out on its own magical hair. Fun fact, the animators and directors said they felt like they were carrying the torch for all the Disney legends before them. No pressure, just the weight of every childhood ever. But they delivered. Big time. The return of the musical fairy tale, let's get real for a sec. Before Tangled, Disney had gone almost a decade without a true musical fairy tale. The 90s were the golden age with hits like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin, all packed with songs you couldn't get out of your head. But the early 2000s, it got a little quiet on the fairy tale front. Then along comes Tangled, and suddenly Disney's back in business with songs, magic, and that feeling you get when the first note of a Disney song hits. You've got Alan Menken writing new music. The guy's basically the Mozart of Disney. Lyrics that are witty, moving, and singable. Admit it, you've belted out I See the Light in your room. Characters who actually sing about their dreams again. Rapunzel's When Will My Life Begin is the anthem for every person who's ever felt stuck or ready for more. The film didn't just toss in some background music and call it a day. The songs in Tangled are part of the story. They're how we learn who Rapunzel is, what Flynn's hiding, and how Gothel manipulates. Every big moment has a melody, and every melody leaves a mark. And the best part? Tangled proved that musicals weren't just for nostalgia. They could be cool, fresh, and funny for a new generation. Without Rapunzel paving the way, there's a good chance we wouldn't have gotten Frozen, Moana, or any of the musical magic that followed. Action, romance, and comedy, all in one ride. You know those movies that try to do too much and end up doing nothing well? Tangled is the total opposite. This film juggles action, romance, and comedy like Maximus with a badge, never missing a beat. Action. Let's be honest, this movie moves. We've got high-speed chases, swinging escapes, daring stunts, and one of the wildest bar fight scenes ever set in a Disney movie. Shout out to the snuggly duckling thugs. I've Got a Dream is a banger. Flynn and Rapunzel are constantly running, jumping, or, swinging from her hair. You're never more than 5 minutes from something totally epic. Animators treated every chase and escape like a blockbuster action scene, and it shows. Whether it's Rapunzel swinging out of the tower, or Maximus chasing Flynn like a heat-seeking missile, the energy never dips. Romance. But, come on, what's a fairy tale without a little heart? The romance in Tangled sneaks up on you. Rapunzel and Flynn don't fall in love at first sight. They earn it, step by awkward step. Their friendship builds, trust grows, and by the time those lanterns start to glow, you're rooting for them all the way. Their chemistry is off the charts, but it's built on laughs, honest talks, and "do you trust me?" moments. That boat scene? It's a new Disney romance gold standard, just as iconic as Cinderella's ballroom or Aladdin's magic carpet. You're not just watching a princess fall for a prince, you're seeing two real people break down their walls and find something honest. That's why it feels so good. Comedy, and let's not forget the laughs. Tangled is straight up funny. Flynn's dry wit, Rapunzel's dorky enthusiasm, Maximus's horse drama, Pascal's side-eye, all gold. The physical comedy is classic Disney, but with a modern twist. I mean, a frying pan as a weapon. Genius. Even Mother Gothel, for all her villainy, delivers her lines with the kind of sass you secretly love to hate. Every character gets a chance to shine, and no joke feels forced. It's smart, playful, and perfect for both kids and adults. Even the background thugs get their own running gags. I've Got a Dream, forever. Modern Disney, classic heart. What's wild about Tangled is how it mixes old and new. It's got the gorgeous hand-drawn look of the classics, but the CGI and action of a modern blockbuster. The story nods to Disney's roots: lost princesses, wicked mothers, magical quests, but flips the script. Rapunzel isn't waiting for rescue. She's taking charge and dragging a guy along for the ride. The movie pokes gentle fun at fairy tale tropes while still loving every second of them. It's the rare film that works for every generation. Kids get the slapstick and adventure, teens get the banter and self-discovery. Adults get the heart and nostalgia, and let's be honest, a few "don't grow up too fast" tears. The iconic moments. Everyone remembers their first lantern scene. The music swells, the sky lights up, and suddenly it's like being inside a moving painting. That moment alone would earn Tangled a spot in Disney history. But there's so much more. The hair-swinging escape from the tower, Maximus chasing Flynn through the woods, and that face-off at the dam, hilarious. Mother knows best. With all the Broadway drama you could ever want, Pascal's color-changing encouragements. And, of course, Rapunzel seeing the world for the first time, bare feet in the grass, eyes wide, ready for anything. These are the scenes fans come back to year after year. They're why Tangled is a comfort movie for so many people. A new kind of princess. Let's give a shout-out to Rapunzel herself, because she's not just a new face in the Disney lineup. She's a new type of heroine. She's not perfect, but she's brave, she's kind, but she sets boundaries, eventually. She's creative, smart, and totally quirky. She saves herself and her prince more than once. Flynn gets his own arc too. He's not just a sidekick or a prize. He's funny, flawed, and has one of the best redemption arcs in any Disney film. Together, they show that fairy tales aren't about being rescued. They're about finding your voice, choosing your path, and sometimes picking up a frying pan and making your own destiny. the start of something bigger. When Tangled swung into theaters, nobody could have predicted how much it would change the game. It didn't just bring Disney musicals back, it brought the whole studio roaring into a new era. Everything you love about the Disney revival, from Frozen's empowering sisterhood to Moana's epic voyages, started here, with a lost princess, a thief with a dream, and a sky full of lanterns. So next time someone asks, "Why is Tangled so special?" you've got the answer. It's a celebration of Disney's past, a leap into its future, and a movie that reminds us all to step out of the tower, follow our dreams, and let our light shine. Ready for more? Stick around, movie buddies. This adventure's just getting started, and you're officially part of it. This is where we roll up our sleeves and go full movie detective. Because one of the coolest things about Tangled is how it takes all those fairy tale ingredients and turns them into symbols you can unpack, debate, and see reflected in real life. You ever watch a movie and suddenly realize, "Whoa, that meant something way deeper than I thought?" That's Tangled, start to finish. Let's dig into some of the most powerful symbols, metaphors, and subtle themes that make Tangled more than just a princess story. Who knows, you might spot something new, even on your 50th watch. The Tower, shelter or prison. Let's start with the big one, the Tower. On the surface, it's just Rapunzel's home, but the more you think about it, the more you realize. This tower is a symbol for every place that keeps us safe, but also stuck, a place of safety. But at a cost for Rapunzel, the tower is all she's ever known. It's got everything: books, art, music, and her mother. It's familiar, comfortable, and routine. There's even a little joy in her daily rituals. But Gothel keeps it locked tight. There are no doors, no stairs, and no way out unless she says so. It's the classic gilded cage. Safe, but smothering. Ever felt like you were living in your own tower? Maybe it's a home that feels protective, but a little too small. Maybe it's a relationship, a job, or even just a mental rut. Something you've outgrown, but you're afraid to leave. Tangled nails that feeling. The tug-of-war between wanting comfort and craving freedom. Leaving the tower. The first step to independence. When Rapunzel finally escapes, it's not just a physical journey, it's a spiritual one. The world outside is scary, but full of possibility. Her first steps are clumsy, then joyful. She's free, but also totally lost. The tower, in the end, is a metaphor for any boundary that holds you back. Leaving is terrifying, but it's also the first step to finding out who you really are. The floating lights, hope, longing, and parental love. Ah, the floating lanterns. If you don't get chills during that scene, check your pulse. But those lanterns aren't just pretty, they're bursting with meaning. A beacon in the dark. Every year, the kingdom sends lanterns into the sky on Rapunzel's birthday. To the world, it's a symbol of hope that the lost princess will come home. For Rapunzel, trapped in her tower, the lights are a mysterious sign, a promise that there's something more out there. The lanterns become the thing that keeps her dream alive. She doesn't know why she's drawn to them, just that they mean freedom and belonging, even before she knows the truth. Parental love and longing. For the king and queen, the lanterns are an act of love and grief. They're saying, "We haven't forgotten you. We're still waiting. You are loved, even if you're lost." For Rapunzel, they're proof she isn't alone. They represent the love of family, even when that family is far away. Anyone who's ever felt separated from their people, by distance, by time, by misunderstanding, knows how powerful a little sign of love can be. It keeps you going, even when you don't know if you'll ever make it home. The lantern scene. When dreams come. True, when Rapunzel and Flynn are on the lake surrounded by lanterns, it's not just about romance. It's about Rapunzel seeing and being seen. for the first time. It's a moment of clarity, healing, and hope fulfilled. The lanterns are the symbol of all the dreams you hold on to, the ones that light your way, even when everything else feels dark. Rapunzel's hair. Gift, tether, and transformation. If you think Rapunzel's hair is just a plot device, think again. That 70-foot mane is a symbol packed with meaning. A magical gift. On one hand, Rapunzel's hair is literally magical. It can heal wounds, reverse age, and even light up the darkest room. It's a blessing, something she's proud of, and the key to her identity. A golden chain. But, and here's the kicker, her hair is also her shackle. Gothel keeps Rapunzel locked up because of her hair. As long as it's long, golden, and powerful, Gothel has a reason to keep her hidden. The thing that makes Rapunzel unique is also what holds her back. Ever felt like the thing that makes you special is also the thing that's been used against you? A talent that becomes an expectation. A role you're supposed to fill, even if it's not what you want. Cutting the hair. Breaking the spell. Okay, mild spoiler alert, skip ahead if you want. When Rapunzel's hair is finally cut, it's a radical act of freedom. She loses her magic, but gains her autonomy. It's the moment she stops being a prize to be fought over and becomes the author of her own life. The hair is both a gift and a tether. Letting go of it is painful, but also the start of true growth. That's powerful stuff, movie buddies. Trust, independence, and chosen family. The core. Themes. Now let's get into the deep water, the themes that run through every scene, every song, and every character arc in Tangled. Learning to trust Rapunzel has only ever trusted Gothel, who isn't trustworthy at all. Stepping outside the tower means learning to trust herself, her instincts, and new friends. Flynn, too, is a master at not trusting anyone. It's only through real connection with Rapunzel and Maximus, and even the snuggly duckling thugs, that he learns how. Trust is scary, because it means you could get hurt, but it's also the only way to find real love, friendship, and belonging. Claiming independence. Rapunzel's whole journey is about claiming her life as her own. Every decision she makes, from leaving the tower to fighting for Flynn, is a step toward freedom. Independence isn't just about running away. It's about knowing who you are, what you want, and not letting anyone else write your story. That's why so many people see themselves in Rapunzel. She's proof that you can break free, even if you've spent your whole life in someone else's tower. The power of chosen family. Tangled is full of characters who build their own family out of love and loyalty. Flynn isn't born a prince. He finds family with Rapunzel, with the misfits at the Snuggly Duckling, and even with Maximus and Pascal. The king and queen's hope, the thug's acceptance, the wild adventures, they all say you can find your people, even if you have to make them along the way. In a world where lots of us live far from home, start new adventures, or have complicated family stories, Tangled's message is pure gold. You get to choose who stands with you, and sometimes the family you build is even stronger than the one you were born into. More hidden symbols, little details, big meanings. If you're a movie detail nerd, no shame, we love it here. Tangled is loaded with little symbols and visual metaphors. Mirrors. Notice how often Rapunzel looks at her own reflection, especially when she's torn between what she's been told and what she feels. It's a subtle way the movie shows her self-doubt and, later, her self-acceptance. Colors. Gold isn't just the color of her hair, it's the color of the kingdom, the lanterns, and hope. When her hair turns brown, it's a symbol that she's found her true self, not just the magic. Paintings. Rapunzel's murals are her way of keeping hope alive, each one a piece of her dreaming soul mapped on the walls that confine her. Why? Subtext. Matters. The movie behind the movie. Here's the thing, movie buddies. You can watch Tangled and just enjoy the laughs, the songs, and the adventure. But when you look deeper, you see a story about growing up, letting go and discovering who you are. The Tower, it's every safe place you need to outgrow. The lanterns, every hope you send into the world, waiting for an answer. The hair, your gifts, your burdens, and the moment you cut ties with what's holding you back. The trust, independence, and chosen family. The blueprint for a life worth living, even when the road is scary. Every time you revisit Tangled, these themes hit a little differently, depending on where you are in your own adventure. Let's keep searching for meaning. Together, if you love digging for hidden meanings and trading movie theories as much as I do, then you're in the perfect place. Don't forget to subscribe, Movie Buddies. Every week we peel back the layers of our favorite films, spotting the symbols, breaking down the themes, and connecting stories to our own lives. So drop your lantern in the sky, step outside your tower, and join this squad of dreamers. The world's a lot less scary when we're exploring it together. Ready for more Tangled? Stick around, because this fairy tale isn't finished yet, and every good story has another secret waiting to be discovered. Let's geek out about Tangled's craft and style for a bit, because if you've ever sat back and wondered, how is this movie so dang beautiful, funny, and perfect for rewatching? You're about to find out. From bold directorial choices, to unforgettable music and a visual style that literally changed animation, this movie's got more layers than a Rapunzel braid. Visionaries at the helm, direction by Nathan Greno and Byron Howard. First up, let's give it up for the dynamic directing duo, Nathan Greno and Byron Howard. These two didn't just want to make another princess movie. They set out to reinvent the fairy tale for a new era, honoring Disney's roots but giving everything a fresh twist. Byron Howard had just come off the buddy comedy Bolt, while Nathan Greno was stepping up from the story department. Their combined talents brought a mix of sharp comedic timing, heart-tugging emotion, and top-tier adventure. What made their direction special? Pacing. Tangled never drags. It zips from slapstick escapes to swoony romance to big musical showstoppers. The jokes land, the danger feels real, and there's always time for an emotional moment. Tone. Greno and Howard hit the sweet spot, making a film that's funny for kids, witty for teens, and layered for grown-ups, even if you're just here for Maximus's facial expressions. Character work. Every character, even the background thugs at the Snuggly Duckling, gets their own vibe and mini arc. Pascal doesn't even talk, but you feel every reaction. The directors have said they wanted every moment to feel alive, and you can see that philosophy in every twitch, giggle, and gasp. The soundtrack of a new generation, Alan Menken's score and songs now. You can't talk about Tangled without talking about the man behind its sound, Alan Menken. If you've ever belted out Part of Your World, A Whole New World, or Be Our Guest, you already know his magic. For Tangled, Menken brought his A-game and then some iconic songs, When Will My Life Begin? This is Rapunzel's anthem, a perfect musical intro to her world and her heart. It's catchy, relatable, and sets up everything she's about: curiosity, creativity, and that gnawing itch for something more. Mother Knows Best. A villain song for the ages, dripping with sarcasm and Broadway flair thanks to Donna Murphy's powerhouse performance. I've Got a Dream. The rowdiest pub sing-along since Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. Every ruffian and thug gets their own weird, wonderful moment. I See the Light, the Oscar-nominated showstopper. If your heart doesn't swell during the lantern scene, I'll lend you mine for a minute. And the score? Menken fills every scene with warmth, adventure, and just the right dash of Disney magic. Whether it's the gentle twinkle when Rapunzel discovers a new flower, or the urgent strings in a chase, the music always supports the emotion. never overwhelms. It, painterly visuals, the living fairy tale. Look, all right, here's where Tangled really sets itself apart. The visuals. Remember those classic Disney movies where every frame looked like a piece of art? The team behind Tangled set out to recapture that, but with the power of CGI. Non-photorealistic rendering, NPR, the game changer. The animators developed brand, new tech, non-photorealistic rendering, so the movie would feel like a storybook come to life. Instead of going for hyper-realistic CGI, they focused on brush strokes, vibrant colors, and light that glows like a painting. The result? Lush backgrounds, soft edges, golden sunlight, and lanterns that actually shine through the screen. The kingdom, the woods, the tower, all look like they were illustrated by hand. Color, palette gold, purple, green, every color is deliberate. Rapunzel's world is full of sunlit yellows and calming greens. Gothel's scenes use shadows and dramatic reds. The Lantern Festival, visual poetry. You can feel the warmth, the awe, the magic of hope literally floating through the air. Character animation. Every character is expressive and unique. Rapunzel's eyes go from hopeful to determined in a blink. Flynn's smolder is meme-worthy, for a reason, and was apparently workshopped by animators to make it just the right amount of swoon and goof. Pascal and Maximus, without ever saying a word, are instantly iconic, all thanks to careful animation choices. Physical comedy and action chases. Slapstick, hair acrobatics. Tangled blends old-school Looney Tunes timing with Disney heart. The comedy's never mean, always fun, and perfectly paced. Audience reactions. The Tangled takeover, all right, let's talk about the real judges, the audience. When Tangled hit theaters, it wasn't just a hit, it was a phenomenon. Critics love. Reviewers praised the movie for mixing modern wit with classic heart. They loved how Tangled balanced Beauty and the Beast emotion, Aladdin humor, and Shrek-era self-awareness, all without losing its sincerity. Many called it the best Disney animated film in a decade, and a true return to form. Roger Ebert singled out the visuals, the warmth, and the blend of old and new. Fan favorites and meme culture, you want proof of how much fans adore this movie? Look at the memes. Pascal, the ultimate silent wingman. His color changes and side-eye game are elite. Fans instantly claimed him as the unsung hero. Maximus, the police horse with the heart of a dog. Maximus memes took over the internet. He's got a bigger following than most sidekicks with actual dialogue. Flynn's smolder, the face that launched 1,000 GIFs. If you've never tried the smolder in the mirror, are you even a movie fan? The cult of the lantern scene. Fans everywhere recreated the Lantern Festival. At weddings, birthday parties, you name it. YouTube is packed with covers of I See the Light and reaction videos of people seeing the scene for the first time. Yes, sometimes with tears. Cosplayers, artists, and Disney park fans turned Rapunzel's braid and the floating lights into a full-blown aesthetic. Repeat watchability. Tangled isn't just a one-time thing. Fans go back again and again for comfort, for inspiration, for laughs. It's become a go-to movie for family nights, date nights, and I need a pick-me-up days. The style that started a revival, the style of Tangled didn't just change one movie, it changed the whole Disney playbook. The painterly 3D look became the gold standard for a string of Disney films, Frozen, Moana, and Encanto. Audiences refell in love with musicals, princesses, and fairy tales, but now with modern pacing and comedy. It set a new bar for what classic could mean in the 21st century. Why craft and style matter. Here's the thing. You can have a great story and characters, but if the craft isn't there, the direction, the music, the visuals, the way everything comes together, it won't last. Tangled nailed every piece of the puzzle. Direction that keeps you glued from first laugh to last. Lantern. Music that gets stuck in your head and your heart. Visuals that make every rewatch a feast for the eyes. Characters who leap off the screen, right into meme and fan art legend. And the best part? The movie never feels forced or cynical. It's full of love. Love for animation, for stories, for audiences of every age. Movie Buddy Roll. Call Share the Magic. If you've ever replayed I See the Light, tried and failed to braid your hair Rapunzel style, or dropped a smolder selfie in your group chat, you're in the right place. And if you're loving this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe. This is a community for folks who appreciate the craft, geek out about visuals, and celebrate the details that turn a movie into a classic. So grab your frying pan, dust off your lanterns, and let's keep this rewatch party going, one behind-the-scenes secret and fan-favorite meme at a time. We've untangled every twist and turn, but before we roll credits, let's take a step back and soak in why Tangled stands tall as a Disney classic. Whether you've watched it once, dozens of times, or you just stumbled in here to see what all the fuss is about, this film has a way of sticking with you, doesn't it? Lasting impression, Tangled's timeless spark. What makes Tangled last? Why do people keep coming back to it year after year? Why do Rapunzel, Flynn, Maximus, and even Pascal feel like old friends at this point? It comes down to this. Tangled isn't just another fairy tale. It's the rare film that feels classic and fresh every single time you watch. It carves out its own space in Disney's legendary lineup, honoring the past, but daring to do things differently. Unique spot in Disney history. As Disney's 50th animated feature, Tangled is both a tribute to the greats, Snow White, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, and a bold step into a new era. It's where the magic of traditional animation meets the wow factor of modern tech. It's proof that Disney can reinvent, inspire, and still bring the whole family together. Enduring popularity. Just look around. Tangled is always trending. On streaming, the music is a constant on playlists and fans keep creating, drawing, and dressing up as these characters. Its popularity hasn't faded. It's grown stronger with every new fan, every new rewatch, and every lantern lit. A new kind of princess film. Here's the real legacy. Tangled changed what it means to be a Disney princess movie. Before, we had classics filled with love at first sight, magical rescues, and happily ever after. Tangled brought something new. Funny. Rapunzel's awkwardness, Flynn's sarcasm, Maximus's over-the-top good boy antics. There's a laugh for every age. Action-packed. Escapes, chases, tower swings, and frying pan duels. There's real adventure, not just ballroom dances. Heartfelt. The emotion is real. The friendships feel earned. The love story is built on trust, teamwork, and goofy honesty, not just a magic spell. Rapunzel isn't waiting for life to happen. She makes it happen and she brings everyone along for the ride. That's a new kind of princess and a new kind of fairy tale. Life lessons and takeaways. Every Disney classic has a lesson, but Tangled packs in some of the best, all wrapped up in music, magic, and a lot of good laughs. Courage to leave your comfort zone. The tower is safe, but the world is where dreams come true. Rapunzel steps out, scared but excited, and every time she falls, she gets back up. Lesson? Life's biggest adventures start the minute you take that first brave step. Trusting yourself and learning. Whom to trust? Rapunzel learns to listen to her heart, even when others try to control her story. Flynn learns that real trust isn't easy, but it's worth fighting for. Lesson. Sometimes the person you have to trust first is yourself. The rest, friends, family, found family, come with time, honesty, and a little risk. The importance of chosen family and following your dream. Not everyone has the perfect family, but Tangled shows you can find your tribe anywhere. The snuggly duckling thugs with their dreams. Pascal and Maximus, the world's oddest and best animal sidekicks. Rapunzel and Flynn Years Eugene, two lost souls who find their home in each other. Lesson: family is where you find love, trust, and people who cheer you on even when you're scared to shine. Predictions for the future: Tangled's light keeps growing. Let's play movie Psychic for a second, because Tangled isn't done yet. Streaming, parks, and merch. Tangled is a mainstay on Disney+, always finding new fans. The parks keep rolling out lanterns, meet and greets, and themed treats. Merchandise? There's never not a demand for Pascal plushies or frying pan mugs. Further adaptations. With the movie, the short, Tangled Ever After, and the TV series, it's clear Disney knows a good thing when they see it. Maybe we'll get a Broadway version, more specials, or even a live-action take down the line. Rapunzel as a Disney icon. Rapunzel now stands shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Elsa, Moana, Ariel, and Belle. She's part of every princess lineup and fan-favorite poll. In every Disney montage, you'll spot her swinging on her hair, lanterns floating all around. Tangled's legacy is still being written, one rewatch and one lantern at a time. Fan theories and favorite moments. The buzz that never dies. Now for the fun stuff. The theories, moments, and shoutouts that keep the fandom buzzing. Fan theories. The Tangled cinematic universe. Are Rapunzel and Elsa related? One of the most popular fan theories is that Rapunzel and Elsa from Frozen are cousins or sisters. Why? Check out the scene in Frozen where Rapunzel and Flynn Eugene are seen at Elsa's coronation. The internet went wild. Crossover dreams come true. Flynn and Rapunzel in Arendelle. Fans love imagining adventures where Flynn, Rapunzel, Elsa, Anna, and Kristoff all hang out. Crossover fanfics? Absolutely. Magic connection. Another theory. The magic flower that gives Rapunzel her powers is the same one that created Elsa's powers, connecting their fairy tales. Favorite moments, according to fans like us. The lantern scene. Overwhelmingly, this is the moment that gets people every time. The visuals, the music, the emotion. Pure Disney perfection. I've Got a Dream at the Snuggly Duckling. It's goofy, catchy, and the ultimate don't judge a book by its cover scene. The thugs are sweethearts. Maximus's antics. Whether he's sword-fighting Flynn, acting like a police dog, or giving side-eye, Maximus is fan-favorite gold. The smolder. Flynn's meme-worthy smolder has become iconic. If you haven't tried it in the mirror, you're missing out. Wrap-up. Why you should let your hair down and watch Tangled. So, if you haven't seen Tangled, here's my movie buddy pitch: let your hair down and watch it. It's a fairy tale for everyone. Kids, grown-ups, dreamers, cynics, and everyone in between. It's got adventure, music, laughs, and heart in every frame. And it just might inspire you to step outside your own tower and chase the dreams you've been putting off. Tangled proves that fairy tales aren't about waiting to be saved. They're about saving yourself, helping others, and finding the courage to shine. Credits. Roll. A heartfelt shout-out. No movie like Tangled happens by accident. So here's to the real magic makers. Directors, Nathan Greno and Byron Howard. Thanks for swinging Disney into a new age. Voice cast: Mandy Moore, Rapunzel; Zachary Levi, Flynn and Eugene; Donna Murphy, Mother Gothel; and every single sidekick and thug who brought the kingdom to life. Songwriters and composers: Alan Menken, You Legend, Glenn Slater, and The Whole. Music team who made I See the Light an anthem. Animators and artists: You took every dream, brushstroke, and lantern and made us believe. We see you. Crew, writers, editors, and everyone at Disney Animation. Thanks for reminding us why we fell in love with fairy tales in the first place, and last but never least, thanks to you, the viewers and fans, for keeping Tangled's light shining. If you loved this journey, make sure you hit subscribe, share the magic with a friend, and let's keep building this Movie Buddies crew, one fairy tale and one lantern at a time. Here's to more stories, more adventures, and more dreams coming. True, see you at the next movie night.